Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris White. I'll be your master of ceremonies. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with everyone today in the remembrance of Hurricane Helene and the premiere of our documentary that the county and the city have both worked hard on over the last month. Wow, 1 year ago today, we would not be able to stand where we're standing right now. There was 30 feet of water over this area. Community was tested not just by wind and water, but by uncertainty, loss, and a long road to recovery. Yet today we gather not only to remember the storm, but we also celebrate the strength of everyone that rose around it. We remember Nick Mitchell. Nick was the sole loss of life in Burke County during Hurricane Helene. We remember the homes that were destroyed, the families that were displaced, but we also remember the neighbors who showed up with chainsaws, casserole dishes, and open arms. We remember the emergency personnel, the linemen, public works officials, nurses, doctors, and all of those who worked without sleep for countless days, and also each of you, the countless volunteers that pitched in to help. And while the winds of Helene may have died down, the impact continues. Just look around you. We're standing in a place today that is still not back to normal. Some scars are still visible, but the resilience of this community is strong. And that's the story we're here to tell today. And before we begin, I would like to say thank you to each of you for showing up, and for holding space for those that are still healing, and for being a part of the community that continues to rise together. Now officially, let our program begin as I welcome the chairman, Mr. Britton.
Good morning. Thank you for being here today. Thank you to Chris for the introduction and for a few comments. And I want to thank Chris. Most of you may not know, but Chris is also our county's public information officer. He spends, he wears a lot of different hats. And, the county is just like some of our other organizations. We wear lots of different hats. And Chris does that very well. And we appreciate all that he does to keep us informed. I'll say just a little bit more about that a little later. Right now, I want to invite Dr. Tom Bland, Reverend Dr. Tom Bland, to the stage to provide our invocation.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here today, and I'm very privileged to be part of this ceremony. Let's pray together. Lord God, we thank you and praise you for the opportunity today to remember a painful day 1 year ago, but a day that was not without a lot of inspiration and its own kind of encouragement as we reflect upon the blessings you brought out of a horrible situation. We're thankful for the blessing of public safety, sheriff's deputies, EMS, firefighters, volunteers, many, many others, the medical community, and the list goes on, who rose up to make a tremendous difference at the most important time on the most difficult day for so many. We remember good neighbors who reached out and helped other neighbors. In so many cases, we hardly knew our neighbors, but we came to know them a lot better in so many cases. Another blessing of a most difficult day and difficult time. We're thankful, Lord, for the power trucks, those that normally work in this area, but many, many others also, the linemen and others who came in from a great distance in some cases to help us. We're thankful for government officials and others who have wisely used resources and are still doing so to move us all in the right direction. We're grateful, Lord, that blessings do indeed come out of great tragedies, though sometimes we have to wait and see that it's not all bad, that there are good things that you bring forth because you are Almighty God. And we are humbled and we are thankful. And how wonderful it is to reflect today, not only on the hardships, but also the great response to those hardships. Not only on the tragedies, and there were many, but on the blessings. We pray, Lord, for all of those in Western North Carolina who are still struggling to recover, to rebuild, to move forward, to move past the sheer trauma of that day, where we can make a difference. Lord, indeed help us to rise up and do so. And we ask these things in Jesus' name and for his sake. Amen.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bland. Appreciate that. Welcome now, Pastor Eddie Bunton, Pastor Eddie, Associate Pastor at Berkmont Baptist Church, going to sing our national anthem for us. I'd ask us to stand at this time. Flag's here to my right. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate that this morning. Well, again, good morning, friends and neighbors of Burke County and perhaps from surrounding areas as well this morning. On behalf of the Burke County Board of Commissioners and the Morganton City Council, I want to thank you for joining us today for this premiere of this important video, Remembering Helene. And I know that all of us who are gathered here today and all throughout this community are not going to forget Helene. It was quite an event, impacted us all in many different ways. And again, appreciate so much the work that has gone into this time of remembrance today. Before I continue, I want to recognize our local and state officials that who may be with us today. I know that our Morganton City Council, I think perhaps I've seen all of you guys. You guys hold your hand up. They are scattered, well, one here, some back in the back. Thank you for being here. One Chris over here. Our Burke County Board of Commissioners, all of our commissioners are here this morning. Where are you guys? I can't see. Hold your hand up. Phil over here, Mike. Thank you all for being here. Well, we got scattered everywhere. Brian over here. Great. Good to see you all. Also glad to have our sheriff, Sheriff Banks Heintzman. Where are you, Sheriff? Sheriff's way back here in the back. Thank you for being here. Also glad to have representative from the governor's office this morning, Emily Ganji. And I believe Emily's a Burke County native. Where's Emily? There she is. Thank you, Emily, for being here this morning. Any other, well, Mr. Granddaddy Longlegs is coming this evening. Let's ask him to leave. Okay. Any other officials that maybe I did not see this morning? Anybody? Okay, all right. Again, thank you to all of you. We're grateful for your presence and grateful for all that you do to support Burke County and Morganton and all the areas here in the county. I also want to express my deepest gratitude to the city of Morganton, to Burke County staff, to our videographer, and that's Chris White. Where are you, Chris? Again, another hat that Chris wears. Is he behind me? He's hiding. He's over here, ladies and gentlemen. He always wants everybody else in his picture, and he's hard to find when you want to get a look at him. But thank you again, Chris, for all the work you've done. I know you've had help to get this video prepared, but I certainly appreciate what you've done. All the generous sponsors today, we're going to have a grab-and-go emergency preparedness bag at the end of our event today. They're over here, and Madam Clerk Kay Drone has worked tremendously to get those ready. And so thank you, Kay. I'm going to give her a hand, and Kat Wright, her right hand, and they've worked hard to get those ready. And so your contributions of time, resources, talent have helped us to bring this story forward and provide today's tools for our community to be better prepared for storms and such in the future. Most importantly, I want to recognize those among us who work directly in the aftermath of the storm. Our emergency management team, 911 telecommunicators, fire and rescue personnel, law enforcement personnel, social services staff, maintenance crews, trash collectors, utility providers of all kinds, and many, many others. You guys carried an enormous burden during the response and during the recovery, and your dedication to protecting lives and restoring essential services will never be forgotten. And I want you guys that if you had a part in emergency restoration, I want you to stand. I know a lot of them are already standing in the back, but I want all of you guys to stand this morning so we can recognize you if you had a part in all this restoration. This effort certainly did take a team of everybody. You know, you might say, well, how did social services, how did those folks help? Folks, just as I mentioned earlier, every employee in this county, and we're so proud of them, they wear lots of hats, but on those days, they put on a lot of different hats. They moved locations. They did everything you can imagine to help our citizens meet the needs during this very, very difficult time. And so we are so thankful for all the employees of our cities, our counties, that come together and made restoration possible. And as Chris mentioned earlier, just for a moment, those of you that are seated can see, and you that are standing, if you look out over this parking lot, you see those lights. Those lights were well underwater throughout this event. And so I heard of a story that the city of Morganton has a pumping station right over here against the river. That station needed to operate. And so we came together as a team, brought a boat, brought some power line, crossed this parking lot to help get that power going back into that pumping station. So it's just amazing when you think about, I know we see things that aren't done, but it's amazing what has been done in this last year to restore our communities. And we thank each and every one of you for what you've done to make that possible. 1 year ago, Hurricane Helene tested us in ways that we will never forget. The storm didn't impact us all equally. For some of us, our neighbors lost their homes. They lost their businesses, while others of us didn't feel that much impact. Some of our businesses are still closed. Some of our people have not fully recovered. And while we in Burke County count our blessings, let's remember our neighboring counties where families lost loved ones and friends were taken too soon. Today, we hold them in our thoughts and in our prayers. At the same time, we gather here to acknowledge the incredible progress and resilience that we have seen in just 1 year. Neighbors helping neighbors. Churches, civic groups, local businesses stepped forward to provide aid. Many of you, I suspect, sitting right here, maybe you weren't right on the front line, but you help support the front line in many, many different ways. We thank you. County and city staff, along with our emergency personnel, work tirelessly, often around the clock, to respond, repair, and restore all the things that were destroyed by this storm. We have seen what Burke County is made of: strength, compassion, determination. Again, thank you. This video is more than a documentary. It's a testimony of what we have endured, what we have accomplished, what lies ahead. It's also a reminder that resilience is not the finish line. It's a mindset. We got to keep thinking about it. We got to keep moving forward. Preparedness, planning, community support are what will carry us forward when the next storm comes. Could be next week. You know, we've been hearing a lot about that. It looks like, based on the information this morning, that storm's breaking up a bit. So perhaps we won't see it next week. But we can't take our eyes off the next month or year. We have to always be prepared and ready. Today, as we watch this story unfold, I hope you feel pride in what we've accomplished together. I hope you feel gratitude for the people sitting beside of you, all these folks standing around behind you, who make this county such a strong and caring place. And I hope you leave with a renewed sense of commitment to help your neighbor, to stay prepared, and to continue building a stronger Burke County. Again, on behalf of the Burke County Board of Commissioners, the Morganton City Council, thank you for being here. Thank you for the way that you've supported one another through this year. And thank you for the way you'll continue to support each other during times of loss and times as we work together to restore our community. Together, we will continue to move from recovery to resilience. Thank you, and may God continue to bless Burke County.
We get in some breaking news as we track Hurricane Helene. The storm, growing in strength, just updated in strength and set to make landfall in Florida before jetting up through Georgia and the Carolinas.
They've been calling for rain. We had rain since about Tuesday. It's just going to be another tropical storm. Friday, I woke up and I looked outside and I said, this ain't good.
5 states are currently under emergency declarations: Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina, and Virginia. According to one hurricane expert, Helene is forecast to grow into one of the largest storms in the Gulf of Mexico over the last century.
Prior to Helene hitting, we had quite a bit of rain in our area. Not unprecedented at all. It's typical for this area to get 10, 12, 14 inches of rain over a week, 2-week period. When we finally got that boost of a little bit of water and a whole lot of wind, that's kind of what tipped the bucket.
So it was a really unique event, right? We were looking back in time, and this really mirrored the 1916 flood, where you had 2 hurricanes come through back to back that created the devastating flooding back then. But here we had the predecessor rain event with the cold front that come into the mountains and stalled, and it rained for 2 and 3 days before Helene ever made landfall. So as Helene worked north, we knew that this was going to be a prolific flash flooding event.
Wednesday, we started having calls with the state, meetings with the state about flooding and damages and the upcoming storm and what it could possibly bring.
Yeah, an emergency declaration was signed the day before by our Board of Commission Chairman, Jeff Britton. That enabled us to do the voluntary evacuation orders for some of the more expected to be impacted areas up towards Linville and up towards the lake. That also gave us the ability to connect with state resources. We all understood that there was going to be a significant impact, and part of that preparation is getting that declaration of an emergency. Thank goodness that we did, because the next 11 months following that, where we were in this recovery mode, the resources that were required and the refunding through the public assistance process with FEMA is only connected to that emergency declaration. So it was really a critical component.
I had recently moved into my role as the Director of Emergency Services for the county, and we were trying to establish what assets we needed to put and where we actually needed to put them. So I spent the entire day working with our Special Operations Coordinator, John Hood, to get things put into place. And we had crews that were going to be staged in the east, we had crews that were going to be staged in the west, in strategic locations, not knowing exactly what that impact was going to be.
We started about 2 to 3 days ahead of time before the storm actually arrived at Burke County, prepping equipment, making sure we had all of our boats in place, motors checked, all of the equipment checked, had dry suits ready for our employees, started working on coverage for our Special Operations Division to be taken off shift, to man the rescue teams. We also had to start working on backfilling to ensure that we maintain coverage for our 911 ambulances as well.
So taking 911 calls on any given day, you're dealing with someone who's having their worst day. Taking 911 calls during Helene was a bad day on fire. You have people stuck on the road who can't. You have to tell them just stay in their car and stay put and call back if there's a medical emergency because you can't get to them. People trapped in their houses. No power, no communication. Then you have people calling, trying to find out if their loved ones are okay because they can't reach them. We had 11 telecommunicators on shift answering roughly 4,500 calls.
$73 rescues in 23 hours that we have names and information for. That's not including the other individuals that we stopped and helped, or the people we insured. That wasn't the well checks. That was actual rescues that were done by the team.
The water level was approximately about 30 feet over where we're standing right now. If you can see the bridge behind me, it was going over that bridge about 4 foot above the bridge level. The rescue we had that evening, a vehicle that got stranded right in the middle of the bridge, and whenever they became stranded, the water was less than a foot deep. By the time rescue crews arrived, they attempted to get her off the bridge, and the water level rose so quickly that it became impassable where they were not able to walk with the victim, so they had to get to the point where they were just holding on to the guardrail or the bridge pillars to stay where they were at and wait for other rescue teams to arrive to effectively rescue the rescuers.
Oh no.
That's not good. That's not good.
To drive across that bridge with the water still just below going over the bridge, and to think to yourself, I almost lost 6 people here. That impact will never leave me. You can drive down 18 towards Lenore and look on the left-hand side of the road before you get to the bridge, and there's a yellow rope that's hanging from the tree, and it's 30 feet in the tree. And that's where my crew had to tie off that day so they didn't die. And that rope is a reminder to me every single day when I drive home.
And there goes Carly's house. Oh my God.
I'm almost 30 years old, and I've seen this happen twice in my lifetime that I remember now. The anxiety and kind of reliving one of my earlier memories of the flood in '04 that took our cabin out here, and up until last September, I'd kind of repressed, and a lot of stuff just kind of came rushing back. The water was above the gutters on this house and actively rising, and at that point, I just kind of knew that was it. We're just gonna hope and pray and see if there's anything left.
Well, I was out of the country in Germany. For a couple of days, I didn't know about it, which was probably good that I didn't know about it. And so they told me, and we started, we finished up where we were and came home. And it was just so rewarding to know that so many of my family and friends had already started the process before I got here.
And I got in the day after the water went down, Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Well, I was driving back for 2 days thinking that I wasn't going to have a house. I came directly here to see what we had. And I stood in the yard and I started laughing. I said, this is ridiculous, it's impossible. And I slept in my SUV that night. I didn't know if I would be sleeping in my SUV for a while. And I came back the next morning about daylight and I started weeping. And I wept all day. I was in shock. And I've had a few friends who said, Jen, I've never seen you in that state before. Everything, ceilings and everything were on the floor. Everything was upside down. Mud was smeared on everything. And when I looked at the yard, we had 5 houses to family cabin, but if you count all the outbuildings, I counted them, there were 19 buildings. And most of the 19 buildings were lined on that side of the property or against the creek. And I didn't say I could ever be removed.
Coming back to work, it was just confusion, chaos. You didn't really know where to start. Seeing a building that's ripped away from its, foundation and leaned up against a fence and a tree was like, what is this? It was chaos.
We lost all of our electric customers, over 10,000 in the city of Morganton. Our water and wastewater operations were both shut down, and within 24 hours we had no water and no sewer service, in addition to no electric service.
We had so much damage, it was just unreal. We just thought we had the trees and storm damage problems, but then we ended up having the flooding damage too as well.
Our electric department employees worked 16-hour days around the clock doing that, had help from 10 other communities in North Carolina that sent mutual aid with people, equipment, trucks to us to restore power, to give people back some sense of normalcy. Our water and sewer operators worked in the field to stop leaks, to try to restore power, to try to restore water service, and within 24 hours we were providing water. We had to boil it, but we were providing water to customers.
There was a lot of challenge too to know when we started up what would come into the pipe. We didn't know what was in the pipes at this point with all the trees down. So there was an unknown of what kind of trash are we going to have to deal with as well. But thankfully, after we started up, we had water coming through the plant and everything was normal. It was kind of a breath of fresh air that we didn't have the issues that we anticipated.
We were able to start supporting businesses that could reopen, that could serve our communities, with a group of city employees, other volunteers, community members, city elected officials serving 3 meals a day to our emergency workers, and in 8 days served over 4,000 meals to keep those people working and able to serve our community, to help us put those pieces back together.
I think one positive thing that I got out of it was just seeing the communities come together, not just our department, but I think just that coming togetherness of everybody to really, we were pulling people left and right, hey, come help us with it. It didn't really matter, what you're working on or whatnot. Is like, let's go get this done, let's go get that done. In those first couple of days, really in the first, I would say 10 days, basic commodities to folks. People needed food, they needed water, Some people had lost clothes, toiletries, just basic stuff. And I couldn't be more proud to serve in a community where the response was very, very much of promoting one's neighbor and trying to be supportive and folks that were in need. I think that they felt supported. I was incredibly proud to serve alongside our other county employees. Everyone just said, "Where do you need me?"
I started receiving texts and updates from the county manager and ended up in a text thread with commissioners from all over the state, helping each other coordinate materials, supplies. It was pretty intense receiving reports from all over western North Carolina through that text thread. I wanted so badly to jump in and do something. I called the county manager. I knew I needed to stay out of the way, but I could not resist the want to help.
There's always going to be something that happens that you do that's outside what your job is. So.
It's really hard to explain. I can tell you this, what I watched was everyone out here dragging everything they own to the curb to throw it away because everything was completely flooded up to the ceilings in their home. We spent the days, weeks out here, me and other city staff, helping people get to the curb, get it separated so we could clean that up. Most of the owners, we all stopped out here and cried with them. Their life is right here at the curb. Their life.
I was just amazed at how well our county manager, all the support personnel under him, not just 911, but DSS, health department.
I think the teamwork and the fellowship, everyone had a genuine concern for everyone's needs, and it was a balance. You would almost expect bad things to follow something like that, but again, it was just a good collective positive atmosphere to work the problem afterwards.
It's just everything came together. It didn't matter what your normal job was. There were things that needed to be done, and we're done.
Friendships, those extended family, that caring, that was just so good. In all of the devastation, that was so heartwarming.
I could not be prouder of the group that I work with.
Community coming together, it gave you a new sense of humanity, I reckon.
I've been humbled twice. Once as a kid where I just started kind of understanding it, and now as an adult where I know what $1 in an hour means in my life, and to come out and just show up to somebody you don't really know and give as much as people have, it shows there's still good people out there.
My biggest hope, and I hope the biggest takeaway that our citizens get and future citizens get, is the importance of preparation, personal preparation. You go through the what-ifs for yourself and your family.
There were lessons learned by everyone in this community. I mean, people thought it would never happen here, but we don't know what's going to happen. And being prepared like this community came together to meet the needs of the people here and support the people. And we've all, I think, made new friends. We've all cherished where we live, and it's wonderful.
What occurred that fateful day. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't take just a moment right now to have a moment of silence for those that were lost, not just Nick and Burke County, but those west of us as well. So I'd like to invite you to join me in a quick moment of silence for those lost. Thank you. Let me highlight just real quick Janelle back there in the back. She was huge and instrumental. Chad in making this. Where's Corey? Is Corey here? Corey standing back there, edited all this. He spent this week. We gave him a hard task, and he made this happen. Corey, thank you. I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. Thank each of y'all for being here. Here's Chairman Britton with the rest of the program.
Thanks again, Chris. want to just finish up by thanking a few of our sponsors. This event takes a lot of effort to put together. Again, our clerk and Kat from the county and county staff, city staff, all kind of folks it takes to bring an event like this together. And again, we want to thank them. We had some special sponsors that helped to provide things for our grab and go bags today. UNC Health Blue Ridge. Any UNC Health folks here this morning? Community Foundation of Burke County. Any of you guys here? Hampton Inn helped provide some things for our meeting today. Burke County United Way. I know Mo is here. There's Mo. Thank you, Mo. Rutherford Electric. Appreciate a couple of our guys being here. They're in the back today. And others who helped put this together. Again, we just want to say thank you for all that you do. Thank you again to each of our folks who just helped your neighbor all throughout the storm and just helped everything that it had to happen to put us back together. And so we could go on all day with those thank yous. Again, that's all I have. Special music, Jessica. Where's Jessica? Behind me. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for providing some music. Don't forget your refreshments, the giveaways over here to the right after we're finished, and those will last as long as supplies last. So let's try to do maybe one per family to be sure that everybody has a chance to get a grab and go bag. Again, a big hand for all of these folks to help put this together.
Bind us together within your love. Bind us together within your holy love. As we shared in our sorrows, we will share in your joy. Bind us together in love. Bind us together and be our peace. Bind us together and be our perfect peace. Though the tempest may rage, we will rest in your joy. Bind us together in peace. Bind us together and give us hope. Bind us together and give us endless hope. Though our tears were our bread, we will feast in your joy. Bind us together in hope. Bind us
Thank you so much for those beautiful words and music. It's my honor and privilege now to present our closing speaker, a man that needs no introduction himself, that lived irreparable damage to his own home. Here is City of Morganton Council member Chris Hawkins. Chris.
Thank you, Chris, and good morning. What a powerful and emotional video. I'm not sure how you follow that. That sums up everything, doesn't it? I have to be honest with you. When I first heard about this event, gathering together to remember Hurricane Helene, living on Creekside Drive a year ago today, I wasn't sure I wanted to attend. The idea of remembering Hurricane Helene, I would like to forget a lot of that, as I'm sure a lot of you would as well. But I'm glad I'm here, and thank you so much for everyone who came out today, for their participation, for the video, and for everyone who had a part in this. Hurricane Helene is certainly an event that we won't soon forget. The idea that where we stand here this morning was under 30 feet of water, that's hard to grasp. That's 3 basketball goals stacked on top of each other. It's hard to fathom. I remember 20 years ago, or 21 years ago now, when Hurricane Francis came through and we had a flooding event, and telling people years after, that if I hadn't seen it, I would have a hard time believing it. And then to have an event like Hurricane Helene come through that was even more devastating. Even a year out, it's hard to believe, isn't it? I think we would all agree that our community has never experienced anything quite like we did 1 year ago today. As I mentioned, at the time of the flood, me and my family lived on Creekside Drive, and I remember watching the water rise in our backyard and wondering when it would ever stop and crest. I remember watching the trees sway in the wind and praying that they wouldn't fall on our home. And I know many of you were doing the very same things where you live as well. I don't think any of us will ever forget the devastation that occurred with Hurricane Helene, but if you recall, there were other memorable actions that happened that day and the days to follow, and a lot of those have been mentioned already this morning. And rather than recall so many of the heart-wrenching events that occurred 1 year ago, I just want to remind everyone as we close of some of the very best we saw during that time as well. I want to make sure that we may forget some things, but that we don't forget the very best we saw in our community and in our friends and neighbors. As the night of September 27th gave way to the morning light of September 28th, so many in our community sprang into action, asking, what can I do to help? The help came in many different forms, and all were very much needed. Many people showed up at the homes and businesses that were affected by the flood and fallen trees, helping clean out homes and sort through what remained. Many of these people are whose names that I know I don't even know still to this day. Many made phone calls to check on the well-being of those affected by the storm. Others sent texts, prepared meals, and delivered them to the homes that were impacted. Still others simply helped by being present, lending a much-needed hug or a shoulder to cry on, or most importantly, by praying with the homeowners and business owners who didn't know what to do next. All of these acts of kindness happened in many different ways and were performed by many different people every day. To all those in our community who helped in any way, thank you. In Hebrews chapter 13, the Bible teaches us that we shouldn't neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. This type of hospitality in the Bible refers to acts of kindness, generosity, and providing for the needs of others. Personally, I don't know if any of the countless people who showed up and helped were actually angels or not, but at the time it sure seemed like they were. In addition to help coming from individuals in our community, we also saw a tremendous response from our City of Morganton employees. This includes our electric department and linemen, our public works, public safety, and so many, many more in every department in the city. Even our community house became a gathering place for those affected by the storm and those volunteering to help, a place to rest, fellowship, and share a good meal at the end of each day. Our building inspectors, as were mentioned on the video, were on the streets going door to door, checking homes and homeowners, providing information and encouragement. Our city manager, our Morganton City Council, our Burke County commissioners and county manager were also out on the streets checking on those affected by Hurricane Helene and asking, How can I help? The compassion shown and the teamwork exhibited is something we should never forget. To all those with the city and county, thank you. We also had assistance from outside Burke County and from across the state. I think of the many linemen who came from other towns to help restore power. I remember seeing so many of their trucks lined up outside our hotels night after night. I told our City of Morganton Electric Services Director, Brooks Kirby, at the time that seemed like the cavalry had arrived when we saw those trucks. We had rapid response teams, swift water rescue teams, and National Guardsmen on the ground assisting those affected by the flood. To all those and many more who came to our aid, thank you. I'm very proud of our community and of the response we witnessed from so many different people, and I know you are too. This overwhelming outpouring of support reminded me of what Jesus Christ taught us and said was the second greatest commandment, and that is to love your neighbor as yourself. In closing, we've come a long way since September 27, 2024, but there are still many people in need, many who still aren't back in their homes, and many who carry the emotional trauma of Hurricane Helene with them each and every day. We've made much progress, but there is still much work to be done as well to restore our community. The work continues, and please note that the City of Morganton and Burke County will continue working together until the work is complete. In closing, I challenge us all to keep finding ways to help those in need in any way you can and to keep loving your neighbor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you and glad you get back on your feet there. Thank you for coming today. This is going to close our program for today. Thanks to everyone that pitched in, Allie, Ronnie, again, Janelle, Chad, and Corey back there, even with his little ones, being able to edit that much video, over 30 hours of video to make this. It'll be available on our website. This was live streamed. It's on the City of Morganton's YouTube page. Feel free to watch it and share it as you can. God bless you, and God bless Burke County.